Let's get into it. What a week. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz spoke at a convention of public employees in Los Angeles on Tuesday. See, a public employee. Are you pumping your fist for Tim or for public employees or both? Both. He would have gotten here Monday, but there's already traffic for the 2028 Olympics. God, we are not going to be ready. Also, imagine Tim Walz making his way around Los Angeles. The grocery store is called what? The smoothies cost how much? What do you mean, CMOS? Walz kicked off his appearance by saying this.
I happen to be the first union member on a presidential ticket since Ronald Reagan. But rest assured, I won't lose my way.
Wow. Damn. Take a shot like that at Reagan, you think he was trying to impress Jodie Foster. Walz spoke about Harris working at McDonald's as a student and drew a comparison with Donald Trump.
Can you simply picture Donald Trump working at a McDonald's trying to make a McFlurry or something? He knows us. He couldn't run that damn McFlurry machine if it cost him anything, so.
I'm not sure that's the test we want to use. Can you picture Barack Obama making a McFlurry? Everyone in line would be like, whoa, check it out, it's former President Barack Obama. Besides, no one can work the McFlurry machine until the one living McFlurry machine repairman, who I assume is the richest man in America, can make his way to Shreveport, Louisiana to fix the first machine on his work order. Walz wrapped up his speech with a reminder that hope is not enough.
But my wife often reminds me, hope is a great word and a beautiful name, but it's not a damn plan. We can't hope that we defeat Donald Trump. We can't hope that we can collectively bargain. We can't hope we protect Social Security. We can't hope that we address climate change. You don't hope to win. You plan, prepare, and work to win.
Fuck yeah, let's fucking go. I'm ready to win this election or softball game. He's hitting all the dad chords. I'm getting confused. Now let's go out there and vote and or fuck up Mankato East. In the face of a drop in polls and a series of meandering and counterproductive public appearances by the Republican nominee, Republicans are getting nervous. Nikki Haley advised Trump to shut up about the size of his crowds already.
I want this campaign to win. But the campaign is not going to win talking about crowd sizes. It's not going to win talking about what race Kamala Harris is. It's not going to win talking about whether she's dumb. You can't win on those things.
Yeah, Trump, it's time to get back to the basics. Hannibal Lecter and shark attacks. Also, something very Heart of Darkness about Nikki Haley being like these awful and disgusting things that reveal your despicable, unrelentingly unacceptable moral failings. Bad strategy. Megyn Kelly said this about Trump on her show Wednesday.
Yep. He rambles. He goes on too long at his rallies and in these exchanges and at his presser the other day to where you get kind of bored, you lose the thread. And I think that's probably an age-related change.
Yeah. He's fucking sharp as a tack. I do take issue with this. People don't naturally get boring as they age. Joyce Carol Oates is 86, and she is more captivatingly insane on Twitter with every passing day. Kellyanne Conway lamented just how much everyone loves Kamala.
Everybody's making her whatever they need her to be. She's so good looking. She's so smart. She's so wealthy. She's so funny. She's close to her mom. She goes on really cool vacation. She'll never break your heart.
It's ridiculous. Her daughter and her husband like her, and when they talk about her in the press, it doesn't make her sob into her 32-ounce Owala of white Zin. On Wednesday, Trump held a rally in North Carolina and said this about the vice president.
That's the laugh of a crazy person, I will tell you. If you haven't known it, it's a crazy. She's crazy. No, her laugh is career-threatening. They said don't laugh. She hasn't laughed. She doesn't laugh anymore. It's smart, but someday it's going to come out. That's the laugh of a person with some big problems.
I will say, sometimes guys will bring their girlfriend or wife to a comedy club and they freak out when their wife starts laughing really hard at the comedian because they're realizing in that moment that they've never truly made a woman laugh. And they find that super threatening. Speaking of men who freak out when women have fun, in a newly resurfaced podcast interview, Joybird defiler Vance seemed to agree with the host when he said that helping raise grandchildren is the whole purpose of postmenopausal females.
And you can sort of see the effect it has on him to be around them. Like, they spoil him. There's sort of all the classic stuff that grandparents do to grandchildren. But it makes him a much better human being to have exposure to his grandparents.
Well, I don't know.
And the evidence on this, by the way, is like super clear.
That's the whole purpose of the postmenopausal
Yes.
female in theory.
If you're in a conversation where the other person says the words postmenopausal female, and neither of you is a doctor, and you don't leave the room like you've been shot out of a cannon, you should be shot out of a cannon. Do you know how hard it is to say, my kids love grandma, in a way that makes 100% of people who haven't heard of Jordan Peterson deeply uncomfortable? Like, the thought that he is expressing is so common and normal. What kind of a dipshit can fuck up saying, baby loves grandma? The weirdness also continued with zero pushback from Vance.
Did your in-laws, and particularly your mother-in-law, show up in some huge way?
She lived with us for a year.
Right.
So,
So I didn't know the answer to that.
Right. No,
because that's this weird unadvertised feature of marrying an Indian woman.
No, it's in some ways the most transgressive thing I've ever done against sort of the hyper neoliberal approach to work and family.
Normal way to let someone talk about your wife and her family like she's a car with heated seats. In an interview with Laura Ingraham, Judge Judy Vance pushed back on the idea that suburban housewives, let's keep the first laugh, suburban housewives actually care about abortions. He said suburban housewives don't actually care about abortions, he insisted, because they care about normal things.
Well, first of all, I don't buy that, Laura. I think most suburban women care about the normal things that most Americans care about, right? They care about inflation. They care about the price of groceries. They care about public safety in the streets where their kids play.
I do think one reason Judd Apatow Vance is in such trouble is that the people who talk the way he talks don't realize how it sounds because they don't know what it is to be normal. In a recent poll of the exact people he patronizes here, 69% of suburban women describe themselves as pro-choice. 77% of suburban women say abortion should be legal in all or most cases. 6 in 10 abortion patients in 2021 had at least one previous birth. You'll tear abortion rights from their cold, dead Stanley Cups. Speaking of people who talk a lot about ice, needing ice, that kind of thing, Donald Trump on Thursday, it connects to the cup, gave a press conference. Donald Trump, he did, a press conference from his golf course in Bedminster, New Jersey, his attempt to hit back at Kamala Harris over her economic agenda. To hammer home his message about consumer product prices, Trump had Folgers, Maxwell House, and Jimmy Dean on full display behind him as he spoke. This sent viewers a very clear message. This is what groceries look like. When Trump finally made it to the podium, interestingly, Trump stuck to his notes more so than he had in recent memory. Trump said, I will do the economic speech everyone is yelling at me to do, and I will do it from the script, but I'm not walking more than 10 steps outside my house. I'm reading it like a hostage, and the second someone asks me a question, it's Donald time. One question in particular really set Trump off.
Many of your allies who want you to win in November say your current strategy isn't working, that you need to stop with the personal attacks on Kamala Harris and deliver a more disciplined message. Do you agree?
You can actually see the moment that he's been activated. You can see in his eyes that the string in his back that makes him talk has been pulled. The question is, will you control yourself just a little bit in order to actually make a case against your opponent that sticks, that isn't swamped by endless news cycles about your complaining? And the answer that he gave to that question was a literal 10-minute no. Here's what he said.
I think I'm entitled to personal attacks. I don't have a lot of respect for her. I don't have a lot of respect for her intelligence. Fani, F-A-N-I, Fani, with her boyfriend, with Hillary. She was subpoenaed by Congress to give everything she's got, and she burned it. She acid washed it. Bleach pit, they call it. She totally scrubbed it, and then they broke everything with hammers, with fire. They burned it. Where you have a very, very biased voting population, and a judge whose hatred of Donald Trump was beyond belief.
That's going to really hurt Hillary in Wisconsin. Fantastic. More. But what if? What if the person we're watching is a person who does not have the words or space or support system to deal with trauma? That's right. You know what that sound means. This is the part of the show where we empathize with Donald Trump. According to a story in Vanity Fair, Republicans close to Donald Trump are concerned by the former president's new habit: compulsively watching the video of his near assassination on repeat. This is the most relatable he's ever been, said that French pole vaulter who was hit in the crotch during the Olympics. As someone whose doorbell camera captured footage of him tripping in his driveway, eating shit, and dropping the McDonald's he was carrying, I know that you must stop watching in order to begin to heal. But maybe just one more time, though. Okay. A couple nuggets fell loose, but most of them survived. Lost it. Yeah, I ate them. Let's all normalize eating food off the ground. What are we doing? Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. The pristine, immaculate, safe, clean room, IBM 5 clean room area of the McDonald's bag has been violated. Yeah, I think we're fine. Can eat a McNugget that touched gravel. Speaking of enjoying an elitist falling on his face, on Wednesday, CBS News announced that it had invited both vice presidential candidates to participate in a debate in New York City and proposed 4 possible dates. RFK Jr. reportedly tried to meet with Harris last week to discuss the possibility of serving in her administration, perhaps in the cabinet, if he endorses her. RFK Jr. says he likes being in cabinets because sometimes he finds delicious mice. Not to propose a quid pro quo, but perhaps this will sweeten the deal, said RFK Jr., dumping a rotting bear cub carcass on the vice president's lawn. Harris and her advisors have ignored the offer. Try and ignore this, shouted RFK Jr. as he dropped a second bear cub carcass on the vice president's lawn. RFK Jr. then angrily tweeted, "The Democratic Party of RFK and JFK was the party of civil liberties and free speech. VP Harris is the party of censorship, lockdowns, and medical coercion. Kamala, please, there's still time to put this man in charge of the Pentagon." Justin Timberlake Vance told reporters on Thursday that RFK Jr. should drop out and endorse Trump, noting he's much closer on the issues to President Trump than he is to Kamala Harris. The main issue being, why doesn't my wife want to hang out with me? Former President Barack Obama dropped his 2024 summer playlist, which included 365 by Charlie XCX. Not to be outdone, Donald Trump dropped his 2024 summer playlist, which includes the McDonald's jingle and what sounds like a caddy being hit with a golf cart from behind. Said Jabba the Dud Vance, music? Yuck. We actually have Jew Detector Vance's 2024 summer playlist right here. Weirdly, it's just one track. Speaking of sex that doesn't lead to children, the CDC this week issued updated guidance for doctors about IUDs, finally recommending that clinicians warn patients about potential pain during insertion and offer them the local anesthetic lidocaine to reduce it. These things make women so uncomfortable the CDC is thinking of renaming them IUD Vance. The CDC is also apologizing for the delay, explaining, "We thought the women were lying and or suffering the rightful consequences of Eve eating that apple. We wish to thank American women for nagging us like total bitches until we saw the light." Come on, CDC. It's not appropriate. Speaking of more compassionate medical care, on Thursday, the White House announced a deal with drug makers, lowering the price of the 10 most expensive, commonly used medications under Medicare. The price drop was part of the federal government's first ever direct negotiation with pharmaceutical companies, mandated under Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. The deal brings down the cost of blood thinners, heart and arthritis medications, and diabetes drugs, saving the Medicare program over $6 billion when it goes into effect in 2026. Yeah, you can applaud that. Joe Biden is most in his element when he's embodying the platonic ideal of the old man president, making customer service calls less confusing, making heart medicine less expensive, make the lady on Entertainment Tonight talk slower, lower the flag for Gina Rowlands. Like, this is what you want your role. What? Guys, Reagan and Gina Rowland are dead, and that's okay. It's a part of life. On Thursday, Biden and Vice President Harris held a press conference in Maryland to announce the deal and to take a few shots at Donald Trump.
The guy we're running against, what's his name? Donald Dump or Donald whatever.
Donald Dump. Get him, Joe. I don't need him to land anymore. I just need you to have fun up there. This is your last Olympics, my friend. You get out there and you break dance. Seriously, though, Joe was on a roll.
Let me tell you what our Project 2025 is. Beat the hell out of them.
What does it mean? What does it mean? Doesn't make a bit of sense. Doesn't make sense, but I don't care. It's very much... Our Project 2025 is beating the hell out of them. Whatever it means, I don't care, because it's very much Biden's version of this.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Doesn't have to make sense. It's the energy. And speaking of not making sense, according to the Sarasota Herald Tribune, new college in Florida threw out hundreds of library books and books from the school's now defunct Gender and Diversity Center. Nice try, Ron DeSantis. The only place people are less likely to read these books than a pile outside a library is inside the library itself. A student told the Herald Tribune that she had asked the school officials if they could donate the discarded books instead, and was told under state law the college cannot donate books purchased with state funding. It's part of a right-wing campaign to cut down on learning accidents, which is one of the leading causes of learning in Florida. It's also why they banned Dr. Bronner's and sued Snapple over the caps. Speaking of places with a lot of meth, a New Zealand charity accidentally gave out dozens of small chunks of meth disguised as individually wrapped candies, which had been donated by a member of the public. First of all, think about that member of the public who gets home and goes to take part in some of their recently acquired massive stash of meth and realizes what they've done. According to the BBC, police have asked that if you have the sweets wrapped in the brand Rinda's yellow packaging, to contact them immediately, because it's party time. Meanwhile, a widower named Jeffrey Piccolo has sued Disney for wrongful death after his wife ate at a Disney Springs restaurant and subsequently suffered a fatal allergic reaction. When reached for comment, Goofy said, "Gorsh." The facts are actually very galling because the couple were repeatedly assured that the food was safe. Nevertheless, Disney has argued that the suit should be tossed out of the court because Piccolo signed up for a 1-month free trial of Disney Plus back in 2019, in the course of which he consented to language about arbitrating all disputes with the company. He really should have read the fine print, where he also might have noticed that Disney Plus is short for Disney, plus we kill your wife. And finally, Wally Amos, the entrepreneur behind the cookie empire Famous Amos, died this week at age 88. I prefer a chewy cookie or a combination of crisp and chewy to the Famous Amos-style dry, crunchy cookie. Still, did not wish him death. One of his biggest supporters sent this statement to the press. Z is for condolences. Z is for condolences. Gotta put it back here. He's survived by his daughter, Tori Amos.